Hi there and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. My name is Amy and I have a somewhat unhealthy obsession with Formula 1. In today's video, it's a little bit of a race recap and a race preview for last weekend and this weekend, kind of bundled into one because currently I don't have time to do both. And I feel like this is just more bang for your buck, essentially. You don't have to watch the one video and you're getting all the information you could possibly want for this week. So first of all, let's start with our little race recap. Here is how the race panned out. Honestly, not too surprising. There were a few outliers, I guess, in my predictions, but honestly, kind of expected it. Max once again dominated, winning by 22 seconds. And for the first time in Formula 1 history, everybody on the grid actually finished the race. There was no DNFs in the opening round of the season. So, good job. Maybe we'll have some actually reliable cars this season. In terms of Max again, winning by 22 seconds, this was his 33rd pole position as well, which was his old number before he took the number 1 and became world champion. And honestly, world championship number 4 on his way. Now, Perez, he obviously finished in second, but again, 22 seconds behind your teammate, and such a clearly dominant car again, at least for this round. It was clearly dominant, okay? He might want to step it up a little. But we are going into a street track next weekend at Saudi, so hopefully that plays into his strengths a little bit more. Of course, the only two pieces of proper drama to come out of the weekend were Bottas with the shocking 52-second pit stop, which is the slowest in Formula 1 history that's been recorded, other than the unofficial record, which was also set by him back in his Mercedes days, obviously in Monaco when they just couldn't get the wheel off 2 days or something in the end. So, and of course there was all the AlphaTauri drama, getting a bit spicy there with some team orders. So basically, towards the end of the race, Yuki was on the hard tyres and Daniel was on the soft tyres. Team orders came in being like, Yuki, let Daniel pass, he's on the faster tyre, right? There was only a few laps till the end. Yuki rather begrudgingly obliged eventually. They ended up finishing. Daniel didn't overtake anyone else, they didn't swap the cars back. I understand why Yuki was pissed off, but then he sort of shot his car around the outside, locked up. If you've actually seen the footage, he corrects his car 3 or 4 times as he's coming back onto the track, almost hitting Daniel. This is after the race finished, so on the cooldown lap. There, he could have easily crashed into Daniel and crashed them both out, which, if he had done, that's it, buddy. That's it for your career at Red Bull. I'm sorry about it. Final bit of news, I guess the biggest fall from grace. Alpine, by far the worst car there this weekend. They've lost several technical, high-ranking technical staff since then, through quitting or firing. I can't remember, I think that was both. But yeah, not looking too great for them. And finally, my fantasy league. How did I do? And not brilliantly. I think I kind of nailed the team names though. MILF, Hot Girls Drink Red Bull, and Budget Operation. So I think I nailed it in terms of the team names. The actual teams, not so much, and I will go back and revise them before next week so I don't fail dramatically again, like I always do. Moving on to the off-track drama, because currently there's more going on off-track than there is on-track, which is just classic Formula 1 really, isn't it? Of course, there's all the Christian Horner drama and stuff kicking off with the allegations and the screenshots going around. I'm sure some of you have probably seen them. Obviously, he was cleared in the official Red Bull investigation, internal investigation that they did. But some people still aren't happy, and there has been stuff sent around to journalists, so. Mr. Jos Verstappen has of course been threatening that Max might potentially leave, as Red Bull is apparently at a risk of being torn apart if Horner stays there, which is pretty interesting. Also, allegedly Ford is looking to pull out of the contracts with Red Bull going into 2026 with all those new engine regs. So yeah, that's quite interesting. If Ford does pull out, then who's going to help them with the new engines? That'll be quite interesting. I know they're technically run by Red Bull powertrains at the moment, but that Ford partnership would have been nice. But that's still all allegedly. Apparently they just don't want to get involved in the drama, which is understandable. All this being said, does this mean Max Verstappen to Mercedes? Now that would be, again, shock move of the decade, like Hamilton to Ferrari. I think Max to Mercedes. I don't know why he would, because he does have the best car on the grid at the moment, but Jos Verstappen was spotted talking to Toto Wolff the other day. And I mean, if you can like try and justify moving, you can. Some new engine regulations, then it's probably going to be more engine heavy than aero heavy. So right now the current regulations are really based on the aerodynamics of the car, like that's how it's going to be quicker. Back when Mercedes was dominating, it was engine-based regulation, so the better the engine, the faster the car. So maybe Mercedes could be a smart move potentially, but not till 2026, like stay where you are. He also does have a contract till 2028, so... But again, contracts mean nada in the sport, so... yeah. Other than that, more off-track drama. Christian is not the only one being investigated. The FIA president himself is being investigated for potentially, allegedly, tampering in race results. Back in the 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Fernando Alonso finished the race in third, but was eventually demoted to fourth after he received a 10-second penalty, which was then redacted and he regained third again for his 100th podium of his career. And allegedly, Mr. Ben got on the blower to the guys at the racetrack and was like, hey though, we don't need no penalty, okay? Allegedly, so yeah, he's being investigated, which is wild. And also the FIA is currently discussing the potential return of the Turkish Grand Prix, which we all want so badly, but also like, we have too many races, my guy. Cut one of them off. Cut Miami off. Okay, so now onto a Saudi Arabian preview. This track consists of 27 corners with 2 straights. It all flows together pretty well, making it one of the fastest racetracks on the calendar. The fastest street track, the second fastest overall track just behind Monza, the Temple of Speed herself. Okay, so it's pretty fast, with cars reaching speeds of up to 250 kilometers an hour. Come Sunday night, under the lights, the drivers will have 50 laps to navigate, up against the barriers, getting nice and close to them, and we've seen those walls cause their fair share of controversy, of drama, of damage to many a car in the past, even though this race is only a few years old, okay? Okay, so last time we were in Saudi Arabia, obviously Fernando Alonso got his 100th podium in what has now come slightly suspicious circumstances. It was also one of the few times last year where Max Verstappen didn't win a race. His teammate Sergio Perez took P1, with Max in P2. Now, he started the race quite out of place. He actually qualified down in P15 after a drive shaft issue in qualifying, which was again something that he was nursing throughout the race. So to come through and finish second, and be getting closer and closer to Checo as the race went on, still a pretty good job, okay? Like we can't deny he's good, okay? He's good. Another driver who was out of place for that race was Charles Leclerc, who started the race down in 12th with a 10-place grid penalty. The Ferrari things, he ended the race in 7th. So the race itself was actually pretty clean, to be fair to Saudi Arabia, like considering the crashes we've seen there in the past. A few broken wings on the opening lap, nothing too dramatic, nothing too crazy, until lap 17, when Stroll, because of course it was Stroll, to be fair, it wasn't his fault this time, stopped his car in the middle of the track due to issues. And then safety car was called out, bunch in the field, nice and tied together. Some teams had good strategies. Red Bull did good on Checo's strategy, that's what it was, to keep him in P1. Max didn't overtake him on the restart, to be fair, although I don't think he was up to first. I don't even remember this race, if I'm being so real. It was that long ago. But I mean, other than that, pretty chill the whole time, nothing too dramatic. Anyway, here are your race times. If you're watching in Australia, we have the race on at 4 AM again. Super fun. I'll also put up the UK and the US times. Those are my biggest audience portions. So like, I'm sure you guys have a much more normal time, at least in the UK. In the UK, it's also on a Saturday for you guys again, so remember that one. But for us here, it is 4 AM on a Sunday. I hate it. So yeah, the Australian Grand Prix is next. The Australian Grand Prix is next. Now for a few little predictions. In P3, I'm predicting Sergio Perez. I know a city does better at street tracks. I know street tracks are kind of his jam, but P3. In P2, I was gonna go with a McLaren for the vibes, and deep down I am a McLaren girl, as much as I'm a Red Bull girl. But I went with Lewis. I don't know, I got a feeling that he's gonna go really well this weekend. He's got something a bit to prove after Russell beat him last weekend, and he didn't have a great car there. So hopefully for the championship's sake, Mercedes does have a good car this weekend. It would be nice to see them battling with Red Bull and Ferrari. And P1, I went with Logan Sargent. I'm so kidding, I went with Max Verstappen. It's Max. Max is gonna win. Also, why I think Lewis is in second is because the race might be a little chaotic. I'm expecting at least 2 safety cars. At least, okay? My prediction, 2 safety cars. Okay, and with that, your post-race review and pre-race preview is all wrapped up and done. I hope you guys enjoyed this new format, and what are your predictions for this race weekend? Leave the video a like if you liked it, and press that red button to subscribe for more F1 and motorsport related content. And I'll see you all in the next one. Laters!